The Cumberland County Salary Board Reorganization and Board of Commissioners meeting. And we will begin with a roll call, please, Lauren.
Absolutely. Commissioner Nieder.
I am here.
Commissioner Fashi. I'm here. Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
Controller Best. Here.
Next is on the agenda is public comment. We open the floor to anyone interested in making comment at this time. Is there anyone showing online? I don't believe anyone in the room is here for public comment.
No one indicating.
Okay. We will then go into our reorganization meeting, and under the first item, we have the position of vice chairman, and I would like to nominate Commissioner Fashi for that position.
Also.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next was an item on the agenda for the secretary. However, I've been informed by the solicitor that we do not need to take action on this position, as that automatically falls to the controller under the county code. So we, I believe, are officially reorganized then. Is that correct? Thank you. So we will move on to the approval of the minutes from the December 18th meeting. Someone would like to make a motion to approve those?
I need to abstain because I wasn't here for that meeting.
Okay,
I'll move to approve.
it's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the approval of the 2026 salary book that has been provided for everyone. And if someone would like to make a motion, or if there are any questions or discussions.
I motion to approve.
Okay,
A second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next, we have the salary board actions. So we have, I believe, only one item on this agenda. And would someone like to make an approval for the salary board actions and
I'd like to move that the salary board action be approved for the court.
for the clerk, of course? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. There any other salary board actions that we have? No? Is there any other business to come before the salary board at this time? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment. So moved.
So moved.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned. We'll move into the Board of Commissioners meeting and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will begin with the roll call, please, Lauren.
Commissioner Nieder.
I am here.
Commissioner Fashi.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Next on the agenda is the public comment on any non-agenda items. Is there anyone in the room wishing to make public comment at this time?
I would like to make a public comment.
Okay,
I would like to say thank you for your support during my tenure as CFO, and I hope the support will continue in my new role as the independently elected controller. However, I am deeply concerned about several things that happened today, and I want to make the board aware. First, the ERP charter. I have not seen whatever document is up for approval, consent agenda 16, nor have I been part of any discussion. Controller Whitcomb said he didn't agree and he was not given a document and the matter was never followed up with him. The accounting system is the heart of the ERP system, and as the elected controller who is responsible for the accounting system, I respectfully request that you table this item and give me time to review and comment on a matter that directly impacts my office. Secondly, also today, I received notice that the solicitor will no longer be the right to know officer for our office. Again, the controller's office did not receive advance notice of this, and there are lots of concerns we have and want to discuss. Who is trained? What do we do? What are the requirements, etc.? And the announcement of the potential move that was done previously, there were no discussions, just roll out with no input from the office. I haven't been in my office a day yet, and there are two big changes directly impacting my office that have been put before me today. Unfortunately, it appears the TAC now seems to be putting things up for approval with no advance notice or opportunity for discussion. I hope this trend stops today. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment to be offered at this time on non-agenda items? Hearing none, we will move into, I'm sorry, Lauren, is there anyone on board with the hand? If you are online and you'd like to make a comment, please use the raise your hand feature. Here's not. That will take us to the consent agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. The consent agenda is a list of routine items that do not appear to be controversial in nature, which do not seem to require additional discussion. Discussion is desired on any particular item. Any member of the Board of Commissioners or the public may request the item be removed from the consent agenda, and that item may be considered separately. The remaining items will be acted upon through one motion. So the consent agenda is agenda items 4 through 17. And I would request approval of the consent agenda unless there is any request to remove any of those items for further discussion.
Given the statement that was made, I wonder if we shouldn't table item 16 till we get clarity on the development of that. So I would ask that be pulled out for separate discussion.
Okay, we'll pull that out, and would someone like to make a motion for items 4 through 17 with the except 4 through 15 and 17 excluding 16
So
for
moved.
discussion?
A second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that will take us to discussion. Do we move into the regular agenda? Do we?
Well, it would be discussed now.
No, okay. So the approval of the ERP charter policy. So it's my understanding that for some reason, and the prior controller believed that the entire ERP and accounting system was the responsibility of their office. And I disagree with that. I believe that this is a system that the entire county needs to run and be responsible for, not just one individual office. And the ERP charter was very narrow and excluded other individuals input into that conversation. I cannot speak to what conversations happened with the prior controller or what did not. But I am comfortable with the ERP charter as revised. However, if my colleagues feel differently, we can table it for further discussion.
I don't know. Like, surprise, New Year's prize right here. What happens if we don't do it today, Stacy?
Really, the only changes within the charter, well, there's two changes. One, the information was restructured so that it was easier to read, formatted with our policy format, because make no bones about it, this is a commissioner's policy, the ERP charter itself. The other change was the number of individuals on the steering committee. Those are the changes. That's what we've discussed previously. Discussed that with the board, discussed that with the steering committee. So if we don't do it today, it just simply means that the charter remains in its current format until such time that it's brought forward for approval.
So we could, if the board is interested in doing this, we could bring it forward for approval next week. Controller Best, does that give you time to review it?
I have not seen it, so I do not know what has changed in it. If what Stacy said is correct, it will not take us long. However, I am suspect that it's different. So I'm going to say,
Excuse me? Yours.
I use bad wording and I apologize. I did not mean that. But historically, that would have been presented to the steering committee and the controller would have seen it in advance. The controller was not given, the prior controller was not given an advance copy. It was not on the agenda. And now it's on my first day. So forgive me for using strong language that I should not have used. But I would like to have the opportunity to review what is in there, and I can't make a comment on how long it will take me to review it until I see it. But I will commit to reviewing it before the next meeting and getting back to you on my opinion.
I'll move to table.
In a second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm opposed. So that table.
But we want to make sure that that gets on the next public meeting agenda, whether it's the finance meeting, or if we don't even have those anymore, whatever the fastest we can get to this, we need to, and we need to give that information over to Dana. And then Dana, I would like to have a conversation with you later.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
I'm available all afternoon.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Okay. So that takes us to the regular agenda at this time.
And we'll start with agenda item 18, which is discussion approval of resolution 2026-1. Call on John Bittner to discuss.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, John.
Yep. I asked the solicitor to draw some ordinance to increase the fees for our registering the devices. And first page here is shows what the current fees are that were last changed in 2016. And there have been a total of 5 changes since 2001. We changed in 5, 7, 13, and 16. And we haven't changed since 16 because we've been able to maintain our expense level due to adopting a lot of technological advances using technology in the field and that sort of thing. The other thing was in, go to the next little slide here. See here, I did the trend lines for where we are. So purple showing you our expenses. And of course, they've been going up now. They dipped a little, they were stable in 21, 22, and 23. And 24, they got bumped up in 25 due to the reclassification we did with the positions that we had. And we didn't make any fee adjustment for those changes. We were able to work through that by, again, using the technology. And as you see here on the chart, then the fee revenue has been very stable. We've added actually a few vendors. When the fee was gone from like 560 to 701, but they've been small vendors, so they don't bring in a lot of money as far as fees go to cover our expenses. And we have the this slide also shows a little aqua green, whatever that color is the balance that we've had throughout between the two categories. And we're now down to like $29,000 balance. So if we just look at the expenses and the balance, that's kind of like where we're going. So I'd like to get us back on track to be a little bit more even keel. This shows in 24 and 20, from 23 to 24, our increase in expenses was 38K and only 13 in fees. And then 24 to 25 was 37 versus 12. So again, as I had said prior, the fees or the expenses have gone up a little bit due to healthcare benefits and stuff, salary and benefits. This next slide shows you if we bring in 2026, where we are at the current level, our balance will drop to 20K, and which is not really sustainable. If you would change the fees, then we're going to get back to this slide will show in 2026. The fees are adopted, it gets us back to 354 for the revenue or the fees, which gives us a 79K balance. And that balance is not really a balance. What happens in my budget with weights and measures, all of our, not all of our incidentals are related into the budget line items themselves. So for instance, in my budget, ERP's in there. I get a bill for ERP every now and then. But I don't get one for like rent and some of the other items that really are a cost to the county. So if we can maintain like a balance, so to speak, of like around 79 or 80,000, that will keep those incidentals at bay, and it will also allow us to have some cash for the last time we got vehicles was in 2015. So one of the vehicles should be replaced in 27. So this would allow us to get the trend back to maybe not a positive trend, but a fairly stable and even trend as we go on. That's all I got. Any questions?
I don't have any.
Shanta, the only thing I would ask, I guess, is that since it was quite some time since these fees had been revised, I mean, percentage wise, I mean, $4 doesn't seem all that significant, but percentage wise, it seems, you know,
Correct.
kind of relatively large. It's over double digits. So would you suggest maybe revisiting these a little more frequently than that time period? So,
yes.
Okay. And okay,
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I would say is maybe then we mark a calendar to not go quite so long.
Oh, this is so good for so long. Excuse me. And so there are 15 other counties that do weights and measures. Half of them have fees. We're kind of like around the middle to the top in between there as far as where we sit, you know, with them. So we're right in the ballpark. When we set the fees up originally, we tried to gauge it by the time we would be spending, the time to actually get people registered, the time it takes to actually do an inspection. What we didn't account for was like re-inspection. So our re-inspection rate is like averages like 4%, 3 to 4% every year, which means we get it. That's at least one call back to the same business. Sometimes it's 2. So again, that's something that's not accounted for. It's a related expenditure, but it's not really in my budget line items. In where that little bit of extra 20 grand or 29 grand or whatever it is there. And as I said, and then we also use some staff from the mosquito program in the wintertime to help with weights and measures, and that is not incorporated into my line items as well.
And I understand, I mean, you know, before I came to county government, I did not know what you all did. And so I understand that your responsiveness is really appreciated by folks in Cumberland County, and counties that don't have a unit oftentimes don't get the same service that is being provided here. So I'm sure that has value to those businesses.
Yeah, and we've set the fees from the origin to now based on the expenses as I delineated, and then also the you know, what the market's going to bear. So that being said, I think the fees that I'm showing for you folks to accept or adopt be right in line with keeping tabs on the consumer and also being acceptable for the businesses.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions?
No, I will move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Going for a coffee.
I have them if you need them.
All right, that takes us then to agenda item 19, and we have Kim Witten online to discuss and seek approval for contracts and grants for aging and community services. Good afternoon, Kim.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture State Food Purchase Program provides funds to food pantries in Cumberland County. We have a contract with Central Pennsylvania Food Bank for the pantries to purchase food from them to distribute. We previously had approval to apply for the grant. This is, we're asking for approval to submit the narrative, which explains how we're going to administer the program. Safe Harbor provides housing services and supportive programs for homeless and near homeless individuals and families to help achieve independent living in the Bridge Housing Program. Community Cares provides emergency shelter resources and supportive services to individuals and families experiencing homelessness. Both of these programs are part of the Homeless Assistance Program, which is under the Human Services Block Grant.
Questions for Kim?
No, I do not. Someone would like to make a motion?
I second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. Thanks, Kim.
Thank
That
you.
takes us to Miranda Melton, who is here to discuss and seek approval for contracts for MHID. Good afternoon, Miranda.
Good afternoon. I have two contract amendments for you today. The first is for Connections. This is our regional crisis program. This increase is we are taking the interest that we have earned from all of our funding streams for this project, and we are now adding the interest that we've earned on that those funds to the contract so that they can be spent down. Those funds are restricted for that use. This is an increase of $1,358,181.63. Has to be precise because that is the exact amount of that interest. The second amendment is for the Advocacy Alliance. They provide our healthcare quality unit, health risk screening tools, and certified IDD investigations for us. We are simply removing the PCCRC funding. We have never used that, so we're just reducing that to bring our contract in line with what we're actually spending. Any questions?
I move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, commissioners. Thanks, Miranda.
Thank you.
That takes us then to discussion and approval of a capital project request for court administration for 2026 courtroom upgrades. We have a group of people here, including Melissa Cavanelli and Adam Green, to discuss.
So I have been working with IT on the replacement and update plan, and they put together a presentation. So I'm going to turn it over to Adam.
All right, good morning. Good afternoon, commissioners. We are here before you today to ask for approval for a capital request to replace technology in several of our courtrooms in this building and over at the Dennis Marion building. We have a couple of goals that we are trying to achieve. First goal is to bring all the rooms current. And once we achieve that goal, the next goal is to keep all of the rooms current. So that way we can avoid full room replacements moving forward. This will set us in the right direction for the next 5 years. Once we have all the equipment that needs replaced underway, along with your approval, we will be able to maintain a streamlined and similar experience for council, court, and IMTO staff. We will be replacing equipment per item in each courtroom moving forward to keep the rooms uniform after we have brought all the rooms current. In the past, we have replaced rooms in full, which causes technology divides. You have the new shiny room and the other rooms that don't quite match that technology. And with this plan, we avoid that. It also, besides the technology divides of whole room placements, it adds more overhead for spare parts and for IT staff and for court staff as far as the learning curve goes. So the initial plan starts with courtrooms 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and the dependency hearing room. The 5th floor hearing room and the divorce hearing room are also included in the project. We replaced courtrooms 4 and 6 in 2024. You will see mentions in the project of FTR, which that stands for the record software, which is used by court reporters. That software runs specifically on county PCs, and they will be included with the county PC life cycle replacement. We have reviewed with our vendor. We broke the courtroom technology lifecycle analysis into a 5, 7, and 10-year plan, and we will be doing a yearly review of each room. Our vendor did come on site. They did look at each room single-handedly to determine the needs and to develop a solution for us. For the project timeline, we have 2 timelines and costs breakdowns, and we work with finance on that. And either way, it'll be the result of how the budget is reviewed. We're asking you for your approval today of $705,000 for the capital request. That would be for all rooms that need replacement of equipment, hardware, software, labor, project management, and includes an 8% contingency. We have phase 1 and phase 2 within the 2 timelines. Phase 1 incorporates courtrooms 1, 2, 3, and the dependency hearing room, which they are the most immediate needs. So that one remains as phase 1. Phase 2 is courtrooms 5 and 7 and the divorce hearing room. That will be contingent on budget review later in 2026 with potential deferral to Q2 of 2027. And that's this timeline breakdown. If we do option 2 with that timeline, we could have a 3 to 5% hardware increase. That's the vendor being transparent with us. And they could also increase their prevailing wage. However, they said they would try to not to, but just to be clear that stretching it out into the next year could have a slight cost increase. Lastly, the divorce hearing room and the 5th floor hearing room, they can be deferred to phase 2. The divorce hearing room, based on the staffing outcome, may need more priority sooner, but it could also be pushed to farther into the project. And the 5th floor hearing room is more IMTO facilities and doesn't really have a direct impact on the overall scope of this project. So are there any questions?
Has any of that information changed since our information session?
From the information session, we revised the approach of the life cycle, broke it down into a 5, 7, and 10-year to help balance the cost out. But
in terms of the classification of various items on their criticality, their calendar of expiration, is that still in place?
yes.
And we're satisfied with how that was built out the first time?
Yeah, we worked with the vendor. We said, hey, can we break these pieces of equipment into these usable lifespans? They agreed and helped us develop that.
We haven't had anything that's gone offline prior to when it was expected to be replaced.
We did have one unit, if I recall, in courtroom 6 that fell. Actually, I don't think it even fell short of its life. It was overdue. So I'm not in direct.
It was well overdue.
Recalling anything that fell short of its life.
Okay. That's all.
Do we have something in place that as we move forward with this, because most certainly the courtrooms need this, but as we move forward with this, when there's an issue, it gets reported and dealt with immediately. Like things can't go overdue. It's like the stuff in your house, right? All the tech in your house, like you can't take it overdue. You've got to have stuff that works. Same thing here. So, if someone can't get the system turned on, they've got to be reporting it, and then it has to be dealt with immediately.
Yes, we do that today. Whether the courts call directly or if they submit a ticket, we respond immediately. We have a lot of our staff trained as far as how to enter the courtroom, how to approach everything. And we do, and if there is a call, we do follow up with a ticket. We are working to greatly improve that process.
And Melissa, the courts know that they have to advise IMTO immediately.
Yes.
Okay.
And I guess the only thing that I would say to piggyback on Commissioner Bashi's comment is that it needs to be elevated to this board, because I think that it was really, through outreach from the public with their experience in a courtroom that it's now reached this level and of scrutiny and planning. So please elevate it to this board.
This process was in place even before that. We were working with the vendor to get them in prior to that, but that just accelerated it even more.
Yeah, and Melissa, with all due respect, though, I understand that this was things were supposed to happen in 2025 that didn't happen. And so to Commissioner Fasci's point, we just don't want to keep kicking a can. That this is really critical to how you function in the courtroom. So please elevate it to us if particularly, this is a lot of money. And as this project rolls out, if it's not what we expect it to be, if it's not curing some of the issues that we currently have, we need to know sooner than later, please.
So if I can just interject, commissioners, we've had some really good conversations over the last couple of weeks where we've really defined roles on who is responsible for what to make sure that the communication is there. I think that was really what some of the breakdown was before. I think everybody knew their part, but they weren't necessarily aware of what the triggering point would be for their part. And we've really talked that through, and we have a really solid plan to ensure that we stay on track with the 5 and 10-year courtroom plan moving forward.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say this, and maybe it's my level of impatience now in this meeting, but like, if it's not working, you just go, hey, this is not working. I need you to get here and fix it now. We need to address it now. Like, I don't, that's how that goes, right? It doesn't work. You need to come and fix it. There should not be, I don't know who to call. I don't know who is responsible for this. Just do it. Just do it. Thank you.
I have one other question. I think you may have answered this in terms of what I asked earlier. So part of that information session was that we discussed the implications, the ramifications in terms of, are we going to be in a new facility in a few years, and does that impact their acquisition in any way? And as I recall, what was stated was everything is largely transferable if there is a new location, that only the wiring, the internal wiring is the, has that changed at all? Or
That will be a correct statement.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's it.
What's the expected shelf life of this technology?
Well, that's where the category is between 5, 7, and 10.
And 10, I think, is long. I think 10, like expecting 10 is a.
Well, there are certain
It's a high
components that 10 is good for. There are certain components that they say you should need to replace in 5. So most of the components I think are more in the 5 to 7. There are a few though that are less. I'm trying to think of the right
Your
word, but-
power cords,
Right, they're gonna last.
your racks, things like that, cords, they're in the 10-year. And then we are going to have a yearly review. We are going to work very closely with the courts. And if we do need to change some of the timelines, if we're noticing a trend of technology having issues or not having issues, we can move those around.
Thank you, that's fantastic. So are we going to get to the Iron Man stage where the defenders can just throw images up around the room and things like that for everyone to see?
That is the plan.
Thank you very much for the update and all of the information and the effort put forward on this. Are there any other questions or discussion?
To approve.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
It takes us to agenda item 2022. 22, agenda item 22. Sorry, you're really gonna be impatient if we have over 2,000 agenda items, right? We have Katie Zimmerman here to provide an update on some anticipated grant awards.
All right, so hopefully I have some good news for you. Normally when I come before you with grants, I'm coming before you with action. I'm not coming with any action today. I'm just coming with news. Because the end of the calendar year, it's often a grant heavy time. People want to get out their grants before the end of the year. So we had a lot of good grant news in December that I wanted to make sure you knew about. And I will be coming forward formally with it later for you to approve or not. But just wanted to have a little celebration here with you all today. So the first is, and we've heard directly from each of these agencies, it's not just press releases. So all of the contracts are in process towards us for you to review. The first is $75,000 from DCED, the Municipal Assistance Program. This is for our strategic planning project. It's a 50% match, so we can draw down up to 75%, up to $75,000 if we spend up to $75,000. Because I don't have the contract yet, I can't guarantee this, but I'm fairly confident that we will be able to draw down all expenses starting July 1st, 2025. So we should be able to draw down the last 6 months of the project's expenses pending that contract. The next is, we heard from the Pennsylvania Department of Aging that we've received the Elder Abuse Multidisciplinary Team Development Award. So this is an in-kind opportunity for our Department of Aging, where they will be working with their experts to create an elder abuse multidisciplinary team program to handle complex cases of elderly abuse. So much like families involved with CYS might also be working with mental health or substance use or various other county services. This will help older adults with those complex cases, get all those people around the table to be able to help that adult as soon as possible.
Katie, I'm sorry, was there a number, dollar amount affiliated?
That's in kind.
In kind, okay.
Yes, so it's expertise that they're gonna bring in. Help us.
Okay, perfect.
The next one is $200,000 from the Burn Skip Local Solicitation Grant. So this is federal funding that PCCD is managing that we are going to be a subrecipient of. This is for our public defender office and will support wraparound public defense. So it would fund 2 non-attorney social worker positions within the public defender office. The next is the Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program. We have received word of a $40,000 award. This is for our Evelyn Brenneman Semi-Quincentennial Trail behind public safety. And I am in contact with Brent and our planning folks to see what other resources might be out there to fully fund that trail project. And then finally, the big one is we heard back about the LSA statewide grant. We have been awarded $400,000 for public safety's mobile communications unit and backup 911. So if something happens at public safety, this can serve as 911, or it can go serve on site at an emergency to coordinate emergency response. This one is really, really competitive. We were one of 17 grants awarded in Cumberland County. So I was really excited to see that one come through.
Yeah.
So no action on any of those, but lots of good news. So I wanted to make sure that you knew.
Yeah, $715,000 is a good day. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And you know, the process, I know it's so long in coming, so I appreciate you making sure that we all were aware of these things, and really wanted to give a shout out to all the employees for their participation and your efforts in driving this forward, and to our elected delegation that supported these grants to help make this happen. Now, maybe there's money for courtroom technology you can try and track down somewhere. I don't know if that exists at PCCD or anything, but because we will continue to have expenses, and I appreciate you continuing to look for opportunities for funds.
Maybe one of these tech companies has a grant where they can actually really work on installing the Iron Man level software.
I can always look. If you see it in your email, send it to me.
I will.
Yeah, but grants are a slow burn, right? Like I've been here 2 years, so it took me a little bit of time to get up and running, and then you have to apply, and then you have to wait 13 months, I think we're ready for LSA. So it just takes a long time to develop those projects, apply, and wait for the good news. So.
And we're already applying for the next round before
Absolutely.
we've received the funds. So
Absolutely.
you're right, it's a slow, but it builds momentum. It's a slow ball to get rolling, but once it starts rolling, hopefully there's good momentum behind it, and we can continue to have such success. So thank you very much.
One of the things that, you know, Katie won't mention, but I think it should be mentioned, is what is so valuable about her being here isn't just about that $715,000. It's about the connections that she's making within the county, and also with our delegation, with some of the funders. She's getting to know those individuals, and when she speaks, they listen. So
Yes.
it's very important, very important.
Thank you. Very good, thank you.
Okay, so commissioners, no pressure, but that good news is going to be a really hard act to follow. Like, we
Yes.
next have commissioners liaison reports.
I know, and
So
it was a crazy couple of weeks without, a lot of meetings happening. However, I did attend a few things that I wanted to just comment on. There were multiple parties to celebrate Carl Goshorn's retirement, and I think I attended 2 of them. But the really rewarding thing was to see the folks from other departments across conservation districts across the state came to wish him well. And so he really had a larger influence than just in Cumberland County. And I thought that was very, very kind and very telling to his level of service over the years. I attended we as a county hosted the unveiling of our bell in the Veterans Courtyard, and wanted to say publicly thank you to KDIC for sponsoring that, and to Phil George for the artwork that he provided to that bell, and the students at Carlisle High School who did this amazing base that it is sitting on. So if everyone, I encourage you to walk out to Veterans Courtyard and take a look. It's really well done, and I think very representative of our county. Additionally, Commissioner Fashi and I attended the swearing-in ceremony for the recent elected officials. That was a lovely ceremony in our historic courthouse, and so it was good to be a part of that. I attended the event to thank the prior board of the Hampton Township commissioners for their service. There were some long-term tenured individuals on that board who served the county very well. Certainly the township, but were very active in the county, and was happy to attend that. And I attended an Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Scout Bailey, and his project was the neglected garden in Mount Holly that he brought back to life. And it was a very unusual Scout ceremony. It was very emotional. I think it was a very challenging job for him to attain this rank, and everyone was so proud and supportive of his attaining the Eagle Scout, which is such an honor. So I was pleased to be there. That was what I did over the last couple of weeks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fashi.
So I would remind everyone to use the Cumberland County Library system. Commissioner Nieder mentioned the swearing-in ceremony, and to follow up with Katie's presentation, then the delegation was here, and we did get a nice photo with them to celebrate the grant for the roof for the courthouse. So I was not at the dedication of the bell because I had Harrisburg Area Transportation Study Coordinating Committee meeting that morning. So I'm going to give you the highlights of it. A lot went on in that meeting. There's a lot of money moving around in terms of transportation projects within our Tri-County region. So Sesquicycle is a very successful program, and it's incredibly successful in spite of the fact that there is no funding for advertising available for that program. So that is a bike share. It is mainly in the Dauphin County region. Very, very hopeful and looking forward to it moving over into Lemoyne and Wormleysburg, but that is an incredibly successful program. All MPO planning partners within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have been alerted by PennDOT, put on notice by PennDOT, that Pennsylvania is not expected to meet its 2024 targets, and anticipates that Pennsylvania will be subject to 23 United States Code Section 148I. And this will require PennDOT to go and submit an implementation plan that IDs gaps, develop strategies, action steps, best practices, and includes a financial and performance review of all highway safety improvement program funded projects. And in 2027, Pennsylvania will be required, because of their failure in 2024 to meet the standards of this program, to obligate an amount equal to fiscal year 2023 HSIP apportionment. That's $128,666,054. We did not meet the standards in 2024, and we're going to pay for it in 2027. Now, this is Commonwealth wide. Here in HATS and our MPO, we're doing very well. We're working on those safety standards. We're meeting those objectives, but man, is this Commonwealth going to pay for a lack of investment in infrastructure and roadways and bridges and whatever else, we decide we don't need in terms of transportation. So I think that's very important for all of us to know, because that is a chunk of change, we can't get the money we need as a county to pay for things like mental health, to pay for our court system. We cannot get the help that we need, and well, we know where 128 million of it is going. So otherwise at HATS, there was a report on the kickoff meeting for the HATS Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan Expert Group meeting number 1. I know it's a mouthful. But the last time the HTSP was updated was in 2015. And so it really, right, it's 11 years later, it needs a good update. And so as a follow-up to that, the transportation study is inviting you to take the Capital Region Mobility Plan Survey. And Samantha, I have the QR code for that in the printout. I will get that to you. That survey is open until the end of February. So input is needed to make transportation safer, easier, and more accessible for seniors, individuals with disabilities, and everyone in the community. So I'll get you that information. We have a traffic engineering and safety analysis, and there are going to be some projects done here in Cumberland County where we have lane departure crashes. And so there's an emphasis on areas for improvements and a reduction in crashes. So there will be work done in Cumberland County on Trindle Road, where there were observed crashes. There were 15 observed crashes. It's State Route 641. Cumberland County Shippensburg Road, it's State Route 696. And Cumberland County Blosserville Road, State Route 4021. So there's going to be some work done in those areas where there are lane departures. The Housing and Redevelopment Authority met, and I attended that meeting. So there's some very interesting things going on there. And one of the things that I think about, and I can't remember who was here and talked about how if we reduce paper, we reduce costs. Do you remember who that was? I don't mean to put you on that spot, but that's one of their goals for 2026 at CCHRA is they want to go paperless. And they want to be able to take debit and credit cards. And, you know, in 2026, we should all be able to take debit and credit cards. So I'm glad to hear that they're working on that. And that will also allow them to expand some of their programming because, of course, they will be saving money. They're going to put out an RFP for legal services. So that will be about 6 months from now. They've got time to work on that RFP. They are redoing a lot of policies. And they are going to move funding for payment and closing costs. They're going to move it to CDBG dollars because there's just more funding available in CDBG. And I think that might be it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, we'll briefly, every meeting of my groups were canceled or not scheduled during the last 2 weeks. So we don't have anything there other than Cindy Wise just sent a note saying that the Blighted Property Reinvestment Board meeting for the 8th is canceled. And I wanted to catch Judd before he left, but I saw he just sent something out a little while ago saying that the solid waste advisory meeting also next week is also canceled for lack of quorum. Since that's moved to quarterly, I want to ask him some questions about that and make sure that, you know, there's not pending business that's not getting addressed, or if the quorum issue is going to be recurring. That's a recent change. So, and here we are with an issue already. So I'll let you know what I find out from him, but those 2 meetings are canceled going forward. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. That takes us to agenda item 24, which is report of executive sessions. Now, we'd like to report that on December 24, 2025 at 9:30 a.m., there was an executive session held regarding personnel. Now that brings us to other business. Is there any other business to come before the board today? No. All right, hearing none, seeing none, commissioners, everyone, we are adjourned.
Thank you.